Hello again, and we're going to have a look at the task called device specification. As we said in the previous video, it's really useful to know what your machine can do and how it's configured, and in particular in this one we're going to look at the specification of this machine that I'm using here. You should know quite a bit about your specification of your machine, see how fast it will go, how much capacity it has, and so forth. So let's just have a look. We're going to settings again. And the first thing is, it's always useful to know what the name of your machine is, or at least what you think the name of your machine is. So in that regard, I'm going to head into System over here. And System has all these options: display, sound, and so forth. And if you go down to About, this gives you pretty much the crux of the matter. We'll ignore the threats and devices and stuff up here. We might have a look at those at a later date. But here we've got device specification. The name is Desktop 25K8HFM. Well, we might want to change that at some point, so you can rename it down here as John's bedroom PC or something like that. The processor is an Intel processor. There are different types of processors, and it's an i5 processor, the CPU at 2.6 gigahertz. In some of the presentations, you might want to work out what the gigahertz actually means. It means, in fact, how many instructions per second this machine is capable of, and it's quite a lot. Installed here, we've got RAM, which is 8 gig. RAM is where your operating system lives. When you boot up, it puts the operating system into RAM. Any software that you run, gaming software or browsers or anything like that, they all go into RAM. That's because it's quick memory. Okay, it's quick memory, and it makes your machine much quicker. So the more RAM you have, the more stuff you can probably do simultaneously, or it looks like it's doing it simultaneously. I've got a device ID here and a product ID. That's probably my license for Windows 10. And then I can see here it's a 64-bit operating system. Okay, so it's sending 64 bits every time it wants to talk to the memory and so forth. Okay, so that's quite a bit more than 32-bit operating system. Older machines you'll find a 32. Modern ones are pretty much all these days 64-bit. As microcomputing, the physical side of it, the physics side increases, you probably expect that to increase as well. So there are some of the basic components of my device settings. One other question is, how much actual storage do you have? Remember that RAM is where it's like the working memory, where you keep stuff that you're actually working with. But general storage is usually on a hard disk. And if I click here, you can see I've got a local hard disk. It's got 238 gig of memory, 79.3 is used, and I've got 159 gig free. That is pretty good. It gives me plenty of free space. You can do a bit of cleaning up if you want. There's options and tools to do that, but for the moment I've got plenty of free space. I'm not too worried about my storage at the moment. It's not going to be too bad. So that is device settings. It's a pretty powerful machine. It's got a very good amount of RAM, and also it's got some good local storage. All those things will mean that the machine should be running very well at the present time.